Life was much simpler. Fewer distractions and more real contact with people instead of staring at our smartphones. I remember life clearly before social media use, and while it wasn't perfect, it seemed that some things in the world worked better, while others were much slower. It's extremely challenging to come to a meaningful conclusion about how social media has impacted my connections with my friends and family. I can say with confidence that connections in my adult life are more shallow than those I had as an adolescent. How can I possibly decipher whether that's due to the internet or whether it's just the nature of adulthood? It's entirely possible that this is just the reality of growing up. I suspect that it is, to a degree. Yet on the other hand, I'm well aware that social media has diluted some of the connection-building aspects of a life that existed prior to mass connectivity. I remember only having to know one version of a person. The person that existed in front of my eyes. I didn't have to juggle the Instagram version, the Twitter version, the Facebook version or the WhatsApp version. I learned about the person in front of me through one medium, the things that they said and did. Today we judge people on so many different aspects of their life. Maybe they post on social media too much. Maybe they never post on social media. Maybe you do or don't like the online version of them. Either way, there is a judgment to be passed about a wholly unimportant facet of this person's life. How do you begin to form a connection with someone that you've come to know through their online persona, more than the person that they are in real life? I vividly remember a time when I could form a strong bond with someone because our lives entwined only in the real world. When I was between the age of about 10 and 15, I would spend the majority of my life outdoors. My friends and I would play football until the sun fell away behind us, and the ball slowly became untraceable in the dark. When the football was over, my shitty little flip phone would be plastered with texts and missed calls from my mom wanting to know where the hell I was. I'd forgotten I even had a phone, for the most part. Then phones changed. Suddenly social media was stretching beyond the occasional conversation on MSN, Facebook and Twitter were becoming something I checked daily. It was always in my pocket and not just on my computer at home. My phone stopped being this useless vessel for bad music, stupid videos and worried text messages from mom and turned into a pocket-sized computer. I didn't need to cycle to my friend's house and knock on his door anymore if I wanted to speak to him. Xbox barged its way into my life next and suddenly, I was connecting with my friends on Halo 3, and not at the park. My teenage years became a hybrid of summer nights playing football and hot Saturdays spent in my bedroom, spending hours on Call of Duty while a fan blasted warm air at my face. The latter would slowly start to assert its dominance in the future landscape of my day-to-day. Again, I think it's totally fair to attribute my transition into being an indoor person, partly to my growing up. But I'm also aware that I was fully gripped by online connectivity. If I wasn't shut away in my room playing Xbox, I was texting or tweeting. As a teen, there was little conversation to be had with me if there was a screen nearby. The advances in the internet and its sudden portability not only gave us permission to be lazy, it encouraged it. As an adolescent, I failed to recognize that I was regressing in some ways. One year during the summer break, it seemed as though my friends had all gone on holiday at the same time. There was no one around to play out. I was bored. There were times when I would genuinely do nothing. I'd spend time with my thoughts. I'd accept boredom because I had to. I reflect on boredom as being something that was good for me. Sometimes life is boring. Or it was, anyway. There is a cure for boredom now and it's called TikTok. When life slows to a crawl, and there's nothing to do, you can always count on an unrelenting stream of short-form video content to keep you satisfied. These days I find it almost impossible to sit in silence, without some form of stimulation. It worries me how easily I can distract myself from sitting and thinking, or just being present. The fairly moderate addiction to social media that most of us seem beholden to is stealing away our ability to quietly enjoy being alive. I used to fill my boredom by reading for hours, or sparing time to think. I worry that I've filled that quiet time with junk instead. I can say with certainty that social media has changed me in many ways, and only now in my mid-20s can I really see that. The upside of all of this is that it's not too late to undo some of the damage. Social media will likely continue as a dominant feature of our lives, but its participation isn't mandatory. I often feel obliged to step away from it all more and more. When I reflect on a life before social media, I feel a sense of nostalgia. Some of it is surely just because I was a child and my childhood was great. I know full well, though, that I miss being bored. I miss learning about people through the real version of themselves, and I miss being a person that spent most of my life outside. Putting away my phone for a while might go a long way towards feeling those things again.